reach at this farm, it is different. This is not Uganda.
No, it's in Uganda.
Yava mawulire nga wamaanyi. Aina jene mbulimi afukiddeyo wamaanyi.
There was one person who was on the camera when Museveni walked into Radio Uganda to announce they have taken over government. It was me and him in the studio at Radio Uganda. Actually, it was done in a radio studio, and I came with the camera.
Go am recording.
Yes.
Banamawulire batugamba nti tuli baavu.
It's self-inflicted poverty, because if you said I'm going to be very creative, you'll make money in journalism.
How did you switch to agriculture, and when did you start?
I decided to think of an idea. I said, what if I made a farm stay? So I got my money and invested it in a farm stay. A farm stay, and the farm stay with specific emphasis on agritourism, whereby I have my accommodation in form of chalets as you see them.
Can you tell the viewer that the money that helps you to switch to agriculture, you made it in agriculture?
Of course, that's what I did. Where did I get?
Take us through the farm. What do you have? What do you grow?
With feed. Now I have 5,000 trees. I think
5,000 trees?
Yes, I think I'm the biggest grower. It's a money maker. It controls cancer cells and kills cancer cells when you eat it consistently. And that's why you see they will tell you, what did they stafade? And that's it. And even the leaves of stafade I even bought. About 6 months ago, I got an order from London. They wanted a ton. And they were paying me $30,000 US.
Leaves?
$30,000 US. Yes. Then of course I have macadamia nuts, which I think I have about 1,000 trees.
1,000 trees?
Yes.
Interesting.
I have pomegranates and komamawanga.
Atamanyi komamawanga. Yena jukula golwale.
I have ducks, I have geese, ducks and birds, and they are very interesting.
You sell them or you just enjoy seeing them?
I enjoy seeing them, but I also sell and make money from it.
Farmers and Zirobwe District with Ivan Kimuli Kigozi.
Buli oli omudigido gwo Happy Farmers ensi ebyobulimi n'obulunzi begguse ku mukutu gwa Happy Farmers. Olwaleero we have a special guest. Tugenda kyusa mu lulimi. Abantu bangi baadde bakayana nti bana Oluganda nga luyitiridde. But you have a chance today. We have a guest. Nze muyita Dr. Professor Bat Kakoza. Why? Because ababaddewo for so long amawulire gavudde wala. We have abantu abadde mawulire wano aba contributing. They rarely do interviews. They rarely appear anywhere. They rarely become motivation speakers, but they are there behind the scene. But trains nearly 70% of the people you see on media. Products is all about TV internationally. Bat Kakoza, yomu erinnya ddene. I think even if you Google yemu manyi. But this time round, we are not focusing so much on media. We are into farming. And the discussion will jetambulira because it's very interesting. As a media personnel, I would say I will be celebrating 13 years in the industry. But the main challenge tusinza okufuna mu industry eno bwe bwavu obuyitiridde. Kansube family y'omu legend waffe tajja kunyiiga. Bawonye example ya Bale Francis. Amawulire bano bafa we bati. Bafa bapangisa nwad. So, Mr. Bat Kakoza, y'omu ku bannamawulire abakoze transition y'amaanyi. Akyali mawulire mpaji y'amaanyi, but akoze transition ate najja mu bulimi. Ayine mu bulimi n'atazannyirayo. Waki muyita dokita nti yava mu mawulire nga w'amaanyi. Ayine najja ne mu bulimi afukiddeyo w'amaanyi. Alumbye n'abalimi gye bali n'abasingirayo. So we are happy to have Mr. Bat on the show. It's an honor to have you, sir.
Thank you very much, boss. I'm so humbled to see that I'm being referred to as a doctor.
You're a doctor because these Ugandans bagala nnyo ebintu ebyo nfunye degree makerere doctorate and what, but for me I believe waliwo abantu abakoze ebintu ebyenjawulo nga mu industry ya media. Why don't you be a professor? For me I call you Professor Bat. Era bamanyi nabagambye ngenda ku interviewing a Dr. Bat Kakoza. Dr. Okay, Bat Kakoza yafuna anyway he's a doctor because of what you've done, Media Plus, you know. introduce yourself, sir, to my guest.
I don't know. I don't know how you want me to introduce myself.
What partly in Kigozi?
Because you've done it. You've done it. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I can say that I've been in the media for over 35 years.
35 years.
And I specialized in television. I can write as well, but my niche was in television, is still in television, focusing on documentaries, because that is my main interest. My major interest in television documentaries. I did television. I decided television documentaries because I would see there is a very big gap in television documentaries production.
Yeah.
Documentary production is a study. When you say you want to do a documentary, it's a complete study. But people think that when you do a documentary, you pick a camera and go and shoot pictures and put them together. Then someone says you have done a documentary. No, I think that's... Then, of course, I realized that this gap has not been filled because most of the television has been into the drama, especially soap operas, television series.
Yeah.
Because that's very easy. You can do that. I can stand here and say I'm going to pretend I'm jumping from here. And then I say and I make a movie. But the documentaries, you must have facts. That's why they make it documentaries. You must have facts and convince the people that you have done a lot of research and that's what you think it is. So I thought that there was a gap, and I think it's worth going into, and I've not regretted it, and I still do.
Yeah.
Documentaries.
Do you feel how heavy your legacy is?
I don't think I think that it's not me to judge. It's not people. Like you recognize it, and I think I'm happy that someone recognizes them. But I don't want to appraise myself and say I think I'm big.
Yeah.
But I can tell you some of the factual things that I've done that maybe people think are big, because I was one of the first people to own a video camera in this country privately. Wow. And
which camera was that?
It was called the JVC.
JVC.
Yeah, and I was one of the first people to start a video club in this country.
A video club?
Video library. We used to call it the video library. Yeah. And I was the first person in the whole of East Africa to start a private television news agency, which was Media, where I could supply news. Actually, I think close almost in Africa. A news agency that can say we're going to produce news independently, like Channel 4 does on BBC. Yeah. Like you do it and bring it to a television station. So we partnered with LTV. I don't know whether you know the story.
Yes, I'm interested.
The story is that at the time I wanted to start a TV station, but I realized it is very expensive because at that time there were no internet. There was no... You had to have transmitters, and transmitters were damn expensive.
Yes.
They were owned by television stations like UTV and all these others. So if you want to start a TV station, you must have a transmitter, which I couldn't afford. Then at that time, of course, UTV was the only one that was running news. So an idea hit me and said, but there is LTV. It had the Christian television. Yeah. It had the best signal because their equipment was super.
What happened to that TV?
I don't know. So I went there and said, you have a very good signal. You don't have news. Sell me 30 minutes every day. And I put on my news and I get. They said, no, but how are we sure that you are not going to bring things that are not in line with what we believe in as Christians? I said, I know you don't like alcohol, you're not going to have cigarettes, you're not going to have condoms, so I'm not going to advertise that. They said, okay. So I agreed. They said, how much are you going to pay us? I said, I'll pay you some money. They said, okay, you pay us 2 million shillings every month. I said, 2 million shillings. I said, okay, I'll raise it. I was convinced that I was going to make money. So I looked at the issue. I said, if I set up a network of reporters and they collected news and I post-produced it And I rushed the tape because we didn't have internet to send it by whatever link or whatever. And I post-produce and send it to the studio 10 minutes before the news. And it's played and it's run like it looks like it's live.
Yeah.
You'd make money. So I did that. I put together a group of...
By that time, NTV was not in Uganda.
No, it was not.
Yes.
So I put together, I collected, I guess, boys. I said, let's post-produce news. We did the first bulletin. It went on air. Then people started saying, hey, there is an alternative news other than UTV. So we would collect. So I established a network of reporters across the country. I gave them small cameras. I said, record a story and send it. But now how was I going to receive it? I didn't have internet.
Yes.
So I partnered with Uganda Post Bank. They had buses which came across from...
Which year was that?
That was, I think, 97.
97, yes.
They had buses that came across from all over the country. I said, you bring my tape as a priority from every region, and I'll advertise you in my news. They said, no problem. So we swapped and I put an advert of Post Bank. So we started putting news, and every day we had news in the morning, lunchtime, and I was almost going crazy. And people were looking for our news. You find people are tuning in, seeing Media Plus News. So it became so popular that the first month when the first month ended, they wanted their 2 million shillings. I didn't have it. I had, I think, around 1.2 million shillings in my pocket. So I said, what do I do? I didn't believe in going to loans because I didn't want to be in trouble. A friend of mine said, but you need the 500,000, 700,000. Let me lend it to you. They gave it to me. I went and paid it to the people, and they were so happy. They said, hey, give us 2 million shillings. So I said, okay. But we had signed a contract with them that I am going to utilize the news for my own benefits. Yeah. All the adverts must come to me. And even the adverts that appear 3 minutes before the news and 3 minutes after the news will have been deemed to have been attracted by the news, so we share 50-50. They agreed, so we went ahead. So I filled all my news with whatever, and then we ran. Yeah. The second month before it ended, Secretary was so interested. He called me and said, "There's this news. We want to sponsor it." I said, "Pay me 20 million shillings per month." They agreed. They paid me 20 million shillings. I would take off the 2 million. Give these guys. Give these guys. I said, take your 20 million. And on top of the 2 million, I was getting adverts from where? From the advertisers, all those. So at the end of the month, I would be getting close to about 40 million.
Sure.
In 1990, I was getting that money. Then I use about 10 million to give the reporters and then buy small cameras. And the cameras were given to reporters on condition that you take a camera and you pay for it. I don't own it, you own it. You pay for it through the stories you do. So if you do a story with offset,
yeah,
until you finally finish paying yours. Each story was costing, I think, about 100,000 or 50,000. So if you offset your whatever, then it becomes your camera. That way they will not spoil them. So I made that money. And the LTV people said, "But you are making too much money. Why don't we revise the contract?" I said, "No." We finished the contract.
They wanted to change the contract.
So we went. Yeah. I finished the first year, second year. At the second year, they came and said, "Want to change the contract?" I said, "It's up to you." So we signed the contract that they now pay me. I said, "Pay me $10,000 every month." And then they agreed. So I said, I'm not going to fight with the advertisers. You just give me the $10,000 every month. The first month they gave it to me. I ran to the bank because I was not now running after advertisers. Second month they gave me another $10,000. The third month they realized they were not making, because they didn't have the acumen of picking adverts and whatever. They called me and said they want to cancel the contract. I said, why? They said, I said, but the contract is clear, because in the contract they had put a clause which was saying either party could terminate the contract, giving the other party 5 days. I read that and I said, well, they can't terminate if they have adverts, but they didn't have, so they terminated it. We went. That's how I stopped the news on LT. But then they even took me to court.
Interesting. Long story. Now, I'm worried. that the legacy that you've created in the media, now people need to know now the other side of Dr. Bat.
I don't know the legacy.
because-
Have I really created a
Because
legacy?
when you
I
reach,
don't
let
know.
me tell you viewers, when you reach at this farm, it is different. This is not Uganda.
Someone was there and said, this is not in Uganda. He said, no, it's in Uganda.
And how did you manage the transition? Because what you know, journalism, you are like a soldier. You work until you die and then you have nothing. It's one of the professions. Zibagamba batulaba namwe mukimanyi nti bannamawulire batugamba nti tuli baavu. Profession esinga omu obwavu. In Uganda, we have media houses that still pay 1,000 per story. Nga munnamawulire waakola emboozi gye mulaba eyo nga bagisasula nnusu 1,000 naddala ba radio. And that has been a debate. That's why you see abantu bangi bavudde mawulire. But the hope we have now kyenzize okubalaga ddala bwe tujja ku farm. That's why I'm worried that the legacy that we've created since 2002, like 30 years, now you have another side, and then you are making another history in agriculture. How did you switch to agriculture, and when did you start?
Let me go back to dispute what you are talking about, that there is poverty in journalism. It's self-inflicted poverty, because if you said, I'm going to be very creative, you will make money in journalism. Because journalism is about creativity and using the knowledge that you have had to be able to create something unique, and you make money. Especially now that it's very easy because the internet is available, you can showcase what you want to do. You will still make money. My transition, I have not transitioned because I came from a peasant society, family. My father was a peasant farmer in the village. Peasant, I don't think I would call him a farmer, but we grew up in a home where we had some few coffee trees, and then the coffee trees sent me to school. But the coffee trees and the banana plantation and all the things that were growing, I got to understand them because I can do anything in farming. I looked after goats when I was young. That's what sent me to school. I sogara mwenge when I was young. I would sogara it and give me school fees. I picked coffee. So I decided to bring this thing and do it on my own now at a large scale because I understand it. And
The
nobody
money that helped you to go into agriculture came from the media.
Of course, what do you expect me to? I've told you first of all, I made almost 30 million shillings every month. From what? From the LTV news that I was making.
And I will not call that luck. It was
not luck, it was innovation and initiative.
And
personal initiative and innovation. And
exactly, that is what is lacking now.
Yes.
That's why people are saying, they say Barry Francis died poor. And I remember even the president promised to build a house. It is painful, but those are the conversations that ebibeera muffe ddala bannamawulire. And when I have a story like yours, Mr. Bat Kakoza, ng'asobodde to be successful in the industry, now is building another agriculture empire.
I want to go back. Let's critically look at the story of Barry Francis. Barry Francis was a newscaster. I just want us to understand. Barry Francis was not a journalist per se. He was a newscaster, a very popular newscaster, very good. He had a good voice, he had good diction. He was not a journalist, he had good diction, he had very good voice. So he was able to read news and people. But because the world has decided to bundle everybody as journalists, they bundled him as. But he was an excellent newscaster, excellent voice, excellent. But he was not a journalist.
Not everyone who appears on
television. That's what they think. A journalist is a different person from a newscaster, a news reader. That's what he was. An excellent news reader, excellent, good voice, everything. He could pick a script and read it, but he was not a journalist.
And died poor? I
don't know about that. I mean, usually at the time of television news, newscasters would come from the other business, come and read. Maybe you come early enough to read, to go through the scripts and make sure you acclimatize yourself with them, and then you do. Bali would come sometimes and prepare his newscast and read it, but that had been prepared by the reporters. So whether he had other private businesses, I don't know. But I think towards the time when he grew old, he ended up, I think he hadn't done a lot of business that, or maybe other side business.
He committed himself.
So he decided to commit himself to reading news only. And by the time he died, I think he didn't have some resources. That's why they say he died poor. Well, that's debatable, but I think that's how it was. So, like I said, I don't want, maybe we have to go to blackboard with class and teach the people that actually journalism is different. You can make money from journalism.
Can you tell the viewer that the money that helps you to switch to agriculture, you made it in
Of course, that's what I did. Where should I get?
How do you like manage it? Because many, I can agree with you. I have friends, innocent, but bagenze, driving Porsche cars and basura, in Munyonyo, like those top, presenters. And the time comes, and then they go back to the humble.
Let me tell you my story. When I worked for UTV when I left school.
Yeah.
I remember in 1986 when Museveni came, when they took power. I was one person who was on the camera when Museveni walked into Radio Uganda to announce they have taken over government. It was me and him in the studio at Radio Uganda. Actually, it was done in a radio studio, and I came with the camera.
Go on recording.
Yes, with the camera. And he did what? He stood there and he announced on radio, because that time.
You were seeing.
Yes, I was there in the booth with him.
1986.
Yes, I was in the booth with him. He was wearing a Fidel Castro cap. He removed it and wiped his face with it because it was sweat. He said, "Hey, it's hot here," and then he started, and I recorded that. And I submitted it because at that time I was working for UTV. I submitted it there. So I worked with UTV at that time and stayed there. And but my intention, my ambition was to work for BBC. That's what I used to look at. And then I switched from BBC. Then I started admiring CNN. So at one time I decided to say, let me write to the owner. That's how daring
I think
now
CNN is your best employer ever.
Yes, I said let me take a risk and write to. By that time we were using faxes, so I sent the fax to Ted Turner, the founder of CNN. I said, I want to come and work for CNN. Why don't you allow me? Then he said, who is this young man in Africa who can be daring like this? Give me a scholarship. They gave me a scholarship to go to the CNN Center in relation with Georgia State University. So I went to Georgia. I was now at Georgia State University with CNN Center, whatever. There was a program that had been arranged for that.
Yeah.
So after the course, we were about 13 from across the world. They asked me to stay and work at the CNN Center. He said, there's a job offer. At that time, as a young man, I said, hey, I can stay in America. But then I looked ahead, I said, if I stay there, really will I ever make it in life? Because life
you had that doubt.
I worked there for about 4 months, and I went and told them, I'm sorry, I'm going home to Africa. I want to be a correspondent in Africa. They said, okay, if you want to be a correspondent in Africa, you can go. But that time they wanted to start a TV program called CNN Inside Africa. I was part of the people who started that program on the CNN show.
Sure.
Yes.
People should know.
So
I think you're the first journalist in Uganda to work
at the CNN Center. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Even this Jeff Kainanges came later, and so after that I became a correspondent for CNN Inside Africa as a producer in the Great Lakes region. So I would do Congo, I would do South Sudan.
Yes.
And of course, like I'm trying to tell you about the money. Yeah. So at South Sudan, so at the CNN Center, if I had stayed working as an employee, I was going to be earning $6,000 a month. But $6,000 a month in America is nothing, because you spend about $2,000 on house, then you have to. So but now here I had chosen to be a correspondent here, a producer. And every story, like if I say went to South Sudan to do a story, they would pay me, each story would pay me $2,000, and they would pay up all the upkeep and whatever I was using, transport, accommodation. So I would get my cool. So if I did my 3 stories, I would be having $6,000 net.
Interesting.
If I did my 4 stories in a month, I would be having my very good for $8,000. So I did that, and I would make money like that.
You were a very lucky man.
Yes, so then I did that, so I kept, that's when I was starting even. But besides that, my specialty in television documentaries, because documentaries are, like I said, if you are a really focused journalist and you say, me, I'm going to get involved into doing special stories, like documentaries.
Now, looking at that journey, very interesting. Even you can take like 2 days talking about it, because there are many years. Now, switching to agriculture, where did you get the interest now? Because in your story, I don't see you saying I reported about agriculture for so many times. Maybe you can get the interest from there. How, where did you get the passion? This passion is, you know, abatugobera tuli mu luzungu lutabuse, but tugezaako kuzimba mboozi omanye abantu ngeri batandika ebyobulimi nti tava butonga alima, but atuuka
n'akola nava butonga alima.
Wava butonga alima.
Ava mutonga andima. So naye njagala kukikola nti kanzije nange nkikolerera large scale kati nfunye ku ssente, kanzimba omwanya ogwansomesa, kansimba embidde. This is embidde, the traditional embidde. The one which you use to make juice that makes mwenge bigere. Not this one of Kawanda, simanyi whatever. This is not Musa, this is not Kainja. It's the traditional embidde.
So it's ready.
It's ready now. I'm going to cut it.
Okay.
And we are going to do what? I'm going to take it and put it inside the house. Yeah. I'm going to put it inside the house. This is ready. So we are going to put it inside and it will ripen properly, and we make this out of it.
But this is Happy Farmers. What makes you a happy farmer?
Because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. That makes me happy. I'm very passionate and very, very passionate about what I'm doing. And I'm into agriculture because I know we are running after time. As human beings, we are getting old. We've been seated here for 20 minutes. We have grown old 20 minutes and we are not going back. But people don't realize that every day you are growing old one day and you are not going
back. Take it back. You are not going to get that back. The time is going to come where you are not even going to be able to walk. So how are you going to be? Are you going to sit in Kampala in an apartment and then you can't even go up your apartment because you have knees problems? Are you going to be locked up in a Muyenga home and you are there, and people build big houses and you are there, your children have gone, you are swallowed up there? So I decided to think of an idea. I say, what if I made a farm stay? So I got my money and invested it in a farm stay. A farm stay, and the farm stay with specific emphasis on agritourism, whereby I have my accommodation in form of chalets as you see them. I don't need to build a house. I live in one chalet. So that you have visitors who come to visit and they stay in the chalets. This is our power bar, our powerhouse. All the batteries are kept here. You see those solar panels and whatever around the suppliers for electricity. So everything is sustainable here. As an old person, you have people around you all the time. So you have, but if you are 90 years old, if you are 90 years old and you are living in a house in Muyenga, you can't even see anybody. Why? That's why we are into this concept that people are always around you. They come and visit you. And I say that because ultimately you must plan how you're going to end your life. How do you end your life? Mr. Bad, okutandika kyekizibu. Omanyi abatulaba awo balina obuzibu nange nzikanye nabo. Okutandika kuzibu mu Uganda. Take us through the journey. Watandika otya to this level?
It's not starting like this. Of course I had a few monies and I started, but it's all about the focus, what you want to do. What do you want to do? You can even start small. Like for example, this place was a flooded area. and nobody wanted to live here. So we bought this place, 67 acres, and at that time it was about 4 million shillings, 3.8 million shillings an acre. So I decided to put in my money and said, let me go. Then people laughed at me, they said, don't you end up sober? So I said, everything here must be systematically done because there is water, and if you can't grow things here, then so I called an agriculture officer. I said, I want you to advise me. He said, togenda kufuna na mpeke yomu n'omwanyi n'emu. I said, nja kugufuna. Manyi wano waliwo olutobazi, tosobola kufuna mwanyi wano, tosobola era okubyegayako na biseera byo. Ngamba nja kugufuna. So I said, if this man is saying that omwanyi amazzi gajja kuguta, lwaki sikola bikata nenguteekako omwanyi buli mwanyi gubeera ku kikata nenguzimba kati olaba omwanyi gawe gufaanana. So I just took a decision. I said, because I'm also looking ahead and said, how are you going to end your life? Well, that's the most important thing. How? You don't end your life in Kampala. Even if you have a small thing, start it. Even if you have 1 acre, 1 acre you'll never be poor again if you decide to concentrate.
It's not about money.
It's not about money.
Yes,
it's not about money. It's about plant one acre of eucalyptus tree and start with it. After 2 years, you cut the trees and start in capital. And you cut them down, you plant coffee. You'll never regret it. There's so much you can do. It's not about money. It's about the passion and focus. And you know that this is what you... And most important, what I told you is that how are you going to end your life? And if you are going into agriculture, don't listen to the Kampalian who are telling you. Karisende zono zitaddemu. Sigenda mu agriculture. Agriculture tesasula. Karisende zono zitaddemu onozalaki. Zasanga nja kuziteeka mu treasury bills mbere nga ntudde. But you are putting money in the treasury bills and the money is going to be fed by then you sit in your apartment. The needs zifudde. Because omugongo tekushituka nga kufuna zi treasury bills. Ending up you die when you are. But here I'm on the farm, I'm on the tractor plowing every day because I plow with my tractor. I walk around, I go to look after, I go and look after my chickens. I move around. I go and pick coffee, I trim my coffee. That's the life. It's not about that money which you are going to get. Of course, after the end of the day, you get money. But it's not the focus that you're focusing on your quality of life.
You must be patient and consistent.
Yes, there's patience and consistency and passion. Because passion creates consistency. That if you are passionate, you must be consistent about what you are going to do. So it's me. I don't believe in this trash of journalists are poor. Hey, because they have started this business of saying, oh, because there is a kind of legitimization of, I don't know what do I call it, that people, a journalist is believed to be a low-class kind of person who goes to report. Then when he finishes reporting, usanga alija banaye ka envelope kaluwa. Ogenze ku reporting a conference. One day seminar has taken place at Grand Imperial Hotel. That's what you write. Addressing the Minister of Tourism said this and this. The director of whatever did this. Then the story is done. Then you go. And then before you leave, you are waiting. Tebugamba ne wayinze bichi. Muwe envelope agende. Naye anajja nakugamba. Story no kubeera kulaninga leero ate ino kulaninga bwe teka mu ekigundi. So you lose your independence, you lose your professionalism, and then you are running after that. And that's it. I am not saying that people should all go into farming, but be innovative. The story is what will make you do a story that is there's so much stories that we can do. The other day I was doing a story of how Lake Victoria is dying. There are many stories. The other day I was talking to one of UBC reporters. I said, do you know how many gaping manholes are there in Kampala that people have fallen there and broken their legs? If you said I'm going to concentrate on that, do you know how much effluent is being led into Lake Victoria? And how many international organizations that are focusing on environment protection are looking for people to sponsor to do stories like those? Do you know that we have like a back cloth which is disappearing? And if you said I'm going to do a story about and take it to a cultural festival in London and I win, do you know how much we are talking about the disappearing cultures of Uganda?
A lot to do.
We are all the journalists are focusing in is a one-day workshop that has taken place at the Sheraton, and people are going to.
Now, if someone asks you to paint a picture, the state of the agriculture sector in Uganda, some believe that it's on life support.
It's not, people have made it look like that, because if you concentrate on agriculture, it will pay you. There is a lot of stuff that you can get in agriculture here in this country. I told you the story of how I went to Israel and found a guy had a 1/4 acre and he was growing oranges in the desert, and he was exporting the oranges to London and he was making money. And the water he was drinking, he would share it with his tree. For us here, you have to first go and listen to a scientist who's telling you, go and test your soil. That soil cannot support, that's rubbish. A soil is a medium for carrying a plant. So it's up to you to, it's up to you as a farmer to manage the soil around it, give it the nutrients, and it will grow anywhere. Everything will grow. Put in manure, it will grow. But this, so people always follow what the scientists will tell them. I'm not against science. I respect it, but
Yeah.
but they say, oh, because most of the people are telling you I've never done it. I believe in practically doing things practically. What you see on this farm is actually everything is practical. I observation and innovation. I observe and innovate. Everything you go, I've tried. People have told me it can't work. I've used it and it worked. And that's why I call my coffee Defiant Coffee. My coffee is called Defiance Coffee.
Defiance,
Coffee.
you are in defiance.
Yeah, because people told me, I said I should not, I'm not going, so me I've grown it. And it's making money for me. It has made money for me.
Mr. Bud, for that person who doesn't know this farm, take us through the farm. What do you have? What do you grow? What do you have on this farm? Because
it's an agro-tourist facility which has almost everything. I have sour soap, Vitafed. Yeah.
It's rare to find a farm.
Yes, when I was growing up, I saw we had one tree. Whenever I would go, I find people have one tree. I said, but why can't someone plant the whole orchard? So I decided to plant. I started with about 200. Now I have 5,000 trees. I think
5,000 trees.
Yes, I think I'm the biggest grower. It's a money maker. It's something that the world is moving towards, because there's a lot of research about that. It controls cancer cells and kills cancer cells when you eat it consistently. And that's why you see they will tell you what is Stafeli, and that's it. And even the leaves of Stafeli I even bought. About 6 months ago, I got an order from London. They wanted a ton, and they were paying me $30,000.
Leaves.
$30,000. Yes, for a ton. But I couldn't deplete my trees. I wanted. So I wasn't able to do it. But that's money. But I'm going to harvest them, these ones. Jango zinijireyo. I told you in Africa we are in trouble.
We are blessed to be.
But we are stupid. Because we can't utilize the chances that we have.
Sure.
Someone tells you he's living here. He sells the land. You know. What surprises us is that a Ugandan will sell land to go to United Arab Emirates to become a slave. and you have a piece of land, you sell it 20 million shillings to raise a ticket to go and become a slave in Saudi Arabia.
There is that happiness that comes when you are in the farm.
Yes.
Look at this. This is beautiful. We must celebrate Mr. Bat, because
Yes,
you know,
sir.
when we talk about happy farmers, this is what we talk about.
Yes.
You know, ochaza omuntu nga mulimi talina ssanyu munyiivu, but this is beautiful. Look at this, even the short. You know, Mr. Cruz, I don't know how you feel. For me,
Yeah, but
I'm happy.
nice. If you come during the harvesting season, you find heaps and heaps of them. Then, of course, I have macadamia nuts, which are, I think I have about 1,000 trees.
1,000 trees.
Yes.
Interesting.
These are very good nuts. You can see this is how it looks like. Most people have never seen a macadamia nuts. Aha, like this one. You see, if you open this, that's how it's supposed to be. You leave this one. Aha. So you have your nuts there.
This is the nut.
Yeah. That nut you can't crack it even with the stone.
So you need the machine.
The machine.
So do you have a machine?
Take
Yes.
details.
But I use different methods of. I will show you how I do it. I invented my own method of cracking them. My own.
Interesting. Yeah. So maybe the struggle would be on market. Because if
market, you cannot finish. You just tell me that you have macadamia nuts and you see. Even if you went on social media and said, Banange, you will be overwhelmed. Then I'm growing gonja. Me, I don't grow matoke, except a few for eating. I'm growing indigenous sweet bananas. Then I've got I told you about, I have pomegranates and nkoma mawanga.
Atamanyi nkoma mawanga. Nina jukula golwale.
Nkoma mawanga is one of the super fruits on earth. It's so medicinal. It helps. It stops. It fights high blood pressure. It fights diabetes. And it's so expensive. But if you want to buy one in Nakasero, this one, just one. Because it's 10,000 shillings. Let me see this one. This one is not good. This one has been attacked by HHH. This one is. You see this? What about this? Aha. So this is how it is. You eat the seeds.
This is real.
You eat the seeds. They are sweet. If you want to buy, see how expensive it is, go in Nakasero and try to buy it. Eat the seeds only. You go and try to buy one in Nakasero. It's 15,000 shillings one. The next one is you pass.
This is beautiful.
Then on the animals, I have ducks, I have geese, I have goats.
Why do you keep these things? Because they're interesting to see. And
yes, I like seeing the ducks and birds, and they are very interesting.
You sell them or you just enjoy seeing them?
I enjoy seeing them, but I also sell and make money from it. I like look at chickens. Like this chicken here is called I don't know. It's called the friend of Trump. There was one which was called Trump chicken. For me.
So I've loved it. You don't keep them inside. You like, for example, ngen koko. Ozile kanizita ya which style is that?
I believe that we need to preserve our own indigenous stuff. For example, I shuddered when I heard that people were going to India to get a broiler chicken. So I said, why should we get a broiler chicken when we have researchers here? Why don't we get our local chicken, mix it with another, and we get a better broiler chicken? Because we have the ones from Teso, why don't we create our own broiler chicken? That's why you see me, I don't keep these Mzungu chickens. Every chicken here is local.
Local. Typical.
Yes.
Interesting.
Then I have donkeys. You haven't seen the donkeys. Then I have cows, which are local cows with the Banyankwele cows. Then I have goats, which I've tried to mix with them so that I get bigger ones, and that's it. So then I have all those things. Then I have bees. I'm into APR. I like keeping bees because I think bees should be respected, and they are one of the most respected thing on earth. That they are the most important thing on the earth. Actually,
you went for unique crops and in this industry. It's very rare to find someone who is alime nkoma mawanga, alime bitaffe. Wakati wagenda mu matoke
because everyone is growing matoke. Because everyone is growing.
Olime ebijanjalo n'ensujju.
But there is somebody who's growing it. So why don't I pick from somebody? Why don't I go on this one which they are not doing? And they make better money. Because if you are growing a matoke, omusaya ajja kuva bunyalugweyo bashema alete truck yero ngoli Buganda wano ugenda kulima matoke Buganda matoke tekakola bulungi ugenda okole ki oswagwe ngenda goteeka obusokole ki oli omusajja galese akusinga, and they are there everywhere. Tokirija kugula mitwalo ebiri mabani nenkoma wange emuja kugitwala kasene ntulo omutwalo enkoma wange
emu
kwa resta feri kimwe kinene ntulo omutwalo kati goli ku matoke gogenda kukola ki kwetika kukola ate empuma manga bazikima wano
babikima
ku farm ne gundi empuma mawanga ne kuna ki ne Nechitafed. We also make wine from Stafed. I'll give you some wine, you taste and see.
Oh, you have wine for...
Yes, Stafed and then Komawanga.
It's good for Christians, you know.
I don't know if you don't drink alcohol.
Hey, it produces... You can produce alcohol.
Yes, that's alcohol, yeah.
I will miss on that one.
So you won't taste it, you don't miss it. Yeah.
So that means you add value on what you are...
Yeah, we do, but we are not doing it from here. We are using another company to do it. We supply them, then they make for us. Yeah.
So you're trying, because I'm seeing the beauty, you have, can I call them cottages? Are they cottages? Chalets, and the future is to have...
Yeah, Ugandans like call them cottages, but they are basically chalets. Chalets are things which are on the farm.
On the farm. So it's beyond the plants and the crops, but you want to go into agrotourism, where someone can... I loved the experience when we went through that pharmacy, and they're like medicine.
Yes.
Usually medicine, everything that you are showing us, olaba nti kino kiwonya cancer, kino oba ina pressure okirya, ekisinza okuneewunyisa ng'ogamba nti bibyo tobitunda. Ekyo kikyo byolya ku makya.
Because that's what I do every morning. Bwe mba ndi ku farm, I go in and say, okay, read on this one, that one helps you in whatever on blood pressure. Because as we grow old, the moment you hit 40 years old, your blood pressure is bound to go up. You are not there, but you must. So you must need to control it at that time. Everybody's blood pressure is always going to be up. Somehow, stressing. So you get there, kwata munyango no gulyamu, nokwata mbiribira no binywamu no terera. This one is very important plant.
Milk this.
Then we have dandelion. And we have stevia. You know stevia?
Yes, I do.
You do it? You taste it and see, chew it. You know stevia? Chew this leaf. Chew it. Chew the leaf. This is 300 times sweeter than sugar. And it's used in treatment for people who have diabetes. They don't want to take sugar. They use that. The pharmaceutical industry uses those. But for us, we have not taken advantage of them to say, let's do it ourselves and eat them raw.
Ndabye n'emituba. Omanyi, it is very interesting. Olina story gy'ongambye wano nga tujja about olubugo. And you had a good proposal of how we can make sure that... But naise kitunulira mwami Bati alina enjogera gy'atugambyemu awo ekirowoozo ky'atuwadde nti just imagine if especially people in Buganda wano singa buli omu alina emituba 15 oba 10 and you can repeat the proposal.
Let me tell you one thing. Today, Puma, the producers of canvas shoes, these shoes which are sneakers like those, is looking for Ubugo because the world is moving into sustainability. Whereas shoes are made from leather. Where animal activists are saying, no, we are not going to kill animals. There is sustainability. We must find a way of stopping killing animals. Then there is the mutuba. So they say there is a mutuba tree. But a mutuba tree, when you get Ubugo and smear the tree with the cow dung, it will grow after 6 months. So you are doing sustainability. So why don't we say this? So they are looking for Mbugo. The only place where you can get Mbugo is Uganda and Honduras. Those two countries in the whole world. And we have not taken advantage. But Honduras is giving more. So I was saying that our Kabaka is very powerful. If he woke up one day Nagamanti, because when the Kabaka talks, everybody listens. He says, buli muntu yenna, buli muganda yenna asimbe embugu, asimbe mituba 10
buli homestead
asimbe mituba 10. Asimbe mituba 10. After 5 years or 6 years, you'll harvest. Now, if you harvest, the whole world is looking for mituba. Do you know how much money we would be getting from it? And it becomes the center for collecting rubugo. Because then it grows only here. The Ficus natalensis tree.
Interesting. And oyogedde ne kukino ekya edda omuntu wafa.
Kati nekirala Baganda, I don't know. Me, I'm not a Muganda, although I have lived in Uganda, so I'm now Muganda by whatever. My name is Gakoza, though I'm not a Muganda, but it has another story of my father in Ankore. had friends who were Baganda, and they would pass there. So when my mother was pregnant with me, the Baganda friends passed and spent the night, and asked my father, said, "Omwana bozali mumwedira china nga turedira ante." Nakambe wafe mu Buganda bedira ante babaita bakakoza kawese. So kati bwazali omwana muyite kakoza. So my father, because at that time abanyankole okubeera n'emikwano by'Abaganda, because Abaganda baali more developed okusinga ffe. Kyali kintu kyangu. So my father nagamba mukole ki bamutume ne bantuma kakoza. So everywhere mbeera abantu bagamba oli Muganda waawa, ne mugamba sebo nze ni Muganda wa nkole.
Interesting.
So going back,
yes,
that in Uganda the back close is so important that whereas the whole world, people across the globe in singa yakatandika bayambalanga skins bazitani amaliba. The only Uganda is one of the only countries in the world that never wore amaliba. Bayambalanga embugo because it was batandika fabric eyo nungi yembugo tetuchimanyi. Then the second thing is that whereas the Egyptians were mummifying their bodies, they were mummifying their bodies and keeping them alive, Baganda had done it long time ago. Because olubugo bwokwata omuntu ngo mufu ne mu rappinga mu lubugo ne muzika mu lubugo, he would after about 100 years omuzio no sanga ali intact. I'm telling you, asanga ali intact. Olubugo kwa. So in order to preserve him more, you need more mbugos. You wrap them more. So in the olden days, every Muganda was required to have a stack of mbugo in his nyumba. In case somebody died, you are required in a village okuwayo olubugo. So what happened? So depending on your prominence, if you are a chief, bakuzinganga mbugo nyingi because balese nyingi. Kati when we grew up, aba Africans engeri je tuina gundi je tuina greedy sente netreka kwegamba bachitanga amabugo balitanga amabugo manji amabugo kati abantu bafufula sente bakaba amabugo leta sente
kati boleta olubugo ndi leso olubugo bayina
bakugoba kati amabugo bagafula sente amabugo amabugo manji mu rapping omuntu
the culture and it can promote agriculture.
It can promote agriculture
to prepare for that. Kati basoma amabugo muleta amabugo ne ku WhatsApp muwereza amabugo
naenze siziwa
to amabugo.
No, I can't. Because I'm sorry, I'm very radical, because I believe that umuntu afiridwa okay fine muze kunzikirako, then you keep people around simanyi bali emere, then abantu stressing kuleta sente simanyi bichi. No, it's not possible. Umuntu afira food fine muzike mugende wamu mukola chawono waka. It's not bakuyamba kuchi. You have lost people begende bakuyamba chikwaza they going to help you instead of staying at
bakusondere ku sente eze zamu.
Okay, they can kusana hizi kuzikola chi. You are just earning from a dead person. Why are you earning from somebody who died? You gamba sengafa nefuna yo sente amabugo nakola. Why? Amabugo is supposed to be embugo.
Interesting. Happy farmers. Ensi ebyobulimi n'obulunzi olwa twabategeezeza program egenda kubeera mixture y'oluzungu n'oluganda. Guest waffe gwe twakyaziza amanye ennimi zombi, but I think ali comfortable nnyo mu luzungu. Tuli ku nsonga ya byabulimi. Tuleeta abantu nga bano okuinspiringa, okulaga ebintu ebikolebwa. Yava atya gye yali akola gy'akyali n'ayingira ebyobulimi. Bw'otuuka ku faamu nagambye nti it is very interesting. Eringa wooteri mwe abali bagenzeeko emunyonyo, kyekifaananyi kyeyinza okusigira era ndowooza ojja kulaba ebifaananyi bye tugenda okukwata era obirabaawo nti waliwo amazzi buli kimu we kiri. Twetaaga kubeera Kampala. Silence. Wano tuwuliddewo music.
Tetulanga music. You only listen to the birds and the crickets and the frogs and the ducks. If you kept quiet, you'd actually hear them. You just silence for a few seconds.
Mpulidde ekikere, mpulidde embaata.
So that's what we want to promote here. You come and have serenity and listen and relax here, and you look at the water, you look at the birds. Let me go back to the Rubugo issue because it tickled me quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like the tourist part of it is that the Rubugo can be a very big tourist potential income from tourism. That abantu bangi tebamanyi Olubugo nga bwe lukolebwamu, especially abazungu. Kati nze nasimba emituba gyange 8 ziri awo, 80 mitubazi 80. Ngenda kukola mu sente, njikola nti ngenda kukola Mbugo, ngenda kukomaga. Ngenda kukomaga, kati ngenda kukomaga, nagenda wanengamba kati nkankomaga nkole Mbugo. Abazungu abajja ngenda kugenda mu Uganda tourism board banayi na destination okubalaga Olubugo nga bwe lukolebwa ojja n'otula it takes about 3 hours 2 hours nga bakubaga ne bakujja ne lubeera ne balwanika ne lubeerawo. Kati nze ngenda boyagala kulaba Olubugo, it's going to be part of the whatever ng'ojja wano nga tukomagira.
So ogasa ebyobulimi, agriculture, tourism, agrotourism.
Naye gundi kyenkola zeeyo gundi eyo convention center. Ngenda kuteeka mu what we call cinema. A video museum such that abantu bangi, for example, mbanja nchade mu Uganda nganjala kulaba ki? Nganjala kulaba how a Karamajong bride looks like. I've produced very nice short videos, very well produced in documentary form, of how 5 minutes of a Karamajong bride. Oteko wano sasula sente no love. You want to say, I want to see how a shabwe is done. Oteko say no love. I want to see how Imbalu. I want to see how all those things. Na ankasanga bazanya na ankasa, it's there, you pay. And that's going to be on a big screen like this, and you pay money. So that's what I've also decided to bring my professional aspect into farming.
This is a revolution.
Yes, so we need, like you are saying, that if the other day I was telling you, I said, if all the journalists who are crying, the twina sente, if you sat down and said, let's create a media village, for example, unataka sende kuokola mukare tutenga tutandise tukole group, tukole media village. Mukala media village muandike proposal, because there are those so-called NGOs that give money. Go there and say, we are creating this for our journalists, and you get the money. You get close to about $100,000 US. Come and buy land and you put up a center for your media. Our media never be a muawo. They will move for a chance. We will take a mistake. Never everything. You do dream about something like this.
Interesting.
Tuve muku self worth pity fetuli wano journalists tetuina sente.
So no excuse
at
all.
And it's not only journalism, every profession, as long as you say I'm going to utilize my profession and become a rebel and do what I want to do the way I want it, ole miracle, you get what you want.
Kati eno nyanja wano wajisangawo oba wali
I created this lake. This place was flat. It would flood because we are on the way of one of the arms of River Mayanja. It passes here. So when it came here, when we got here, when someone was selling land, he decided to sell it to me cheaply because he said it floods. And then once again, and they had the belief that there was a Musambwa here called Waliwo Musambwa baguyita Lwamirindi guja kundia. Nagambo yakuze kundi. Nemugamba nze Lwamirindi kati nze nzize. Ninga bakanjenda Lwamirindi nze Lwamirindi. Kane wakola ki?
Bali batiyawe.
Naga waliwo Lwamirindi, nemugamba Lwamirindi afaana atya. Naga waliwo ajangengo mungeri yengo. Ate beera engo ebeera wano bweti. Nemugamba oyina embuzi. Nagamba ye. Kati engo eri aki? Nagamba eri obusolosolo. Kati embuzi ozitayinga ozitezalinga ozikuma. Nsiba wali. Entete oyina embwa ye. Embwa tezibula kati oloza embu ye eri aki? Kati nebabeera nebaganze kati nze Lwamirindi. Zikanze ndiringe
Lwamirindi.
Tachisangawo. So I created this and created I dug it with a gradient process. That's it. So when the river comes and fills, it by gravity goes back. Then I created a channel around it. You will see it goes and the water goes back.
So
and continues on its
flood.
Never, I can't. I did this very scientifically.
This is beautiful. So yes. How mulimu ebyenyanja?
There is a lot of fish here. The fish you ate today for lunch was from here.
Abatulaba tulidde. ekyennyanja buli kye tulidde wano
It comes from
kiva ku farm. Tulidde ekyennyanja, tulidde dero wendidde ku mmere eba organic.
everything is organic here.
Mmere eri organic. Kampala ntamye sigenda kudda Kampala. but mulimu ebyennyanja ki mulimu
mambe mamba ne mali naye mamba ntono naye mali zisinga nnyo ku
obungi bulenkana butya
a lot because I even sell. When I pass
ekyennyanja tulidde kivudde
wano there is a lot of fish. Bwe mbanja akwana nteka akatimba n'enkola you move from here byoteeka otobimalaawo ojja mu byowagala n'obizaamu.
So I have enjoyed the experience when I came here, the treat, the security, the environment, the people around this space. So if I want to come with my family out there, because people will watch this, you welcome people to come here with
we welcome people, but we pay. People pay. When you come and say, I want to spend a day at the farm.
Yeah.
Only spend a day and I want to have like a farm tour. You pay 50,000 shillings and go away. But if you say I want to have a whole setup of farm tour, lunch, because we have what we call a lunch buffet. The only day is not part. This is just a small part.
Hey, it's a small.
It's just a small
I just
bit.
Imagine what.
No. There's a lot. Every food is going to be there.
I'm coming back.
So you pay 100,000 shillings and then you pay the whole day. You tour the farm, you eat lunch, and you go away.
So if I want to sleep like 2 days.
If you want to sleep, we haven't yet, but we are doing what we call full board. You know what full board is? Full board, you come like today in the afternoon, you have lunch, then after lunch you have the evening tea, then you have dinner, you have the fire pit muchomo, then you have bed and sleep, and the following morning you have breakfast, and you have the farm tour, and you leave. You pay $200 per person.
$200 is
that's 700,000 shillings per person.
700. That is one day.
Yeah, that's one night to go funyo byonna. It's a lot of things.
That is little money.
That's very little money as such. So.
Because okay. People mbabuulira ekibadde wano bwagamba emitwalo 7 kitini.
Yeah, and that's what people have told me that.
Yeah, this is little money.
That you see
yes. The maintenance of this farm. And many Ugandans, when they look at this bagamba nti omuntu tasobola bikola bino ng'ali yekka. Ayinza okuba tetwalemererwa ye ava mu ggulu n'agwa.
Olwose n'okyogera n'agamba oye anti manya abantu ebya gavumenti ebyo Museveni abiina mu gundi. Nze ngabagamba bannange Museveni simumanyi as a person amanyi naye nze siri mu byabufuzi siri mu ki. Me am a journalist who is. But although I fear these days to call myself a journalist because journalism is getting bastardized and people are, every blogger is a journalist now. Everybody who gets a microphone, who goes on blogging is a journalist. So we are really besieged. We are in trouble.
I know. I tell people, not everyone that appears before a camera.
Everybody has become a journalist now, whoever goes on camera.
Happy farmers. Ensi ebyobulimi n'obulunzi. Mu Luganda tugamba biggwa byokya emboozi teba nkadde. Nandyagadde n'emboozi okweyongerayo akaseera akawanvuko n'ekiyinza obutasoboka. Tubadde mu farm mu birabe byonna tulabye farm eno. I would encourage spend some money. Wojja wano tojja kulya buli but come and learn. Come and tap into the wisdom of Mr. Bat Kakoza. Togenda sigala kyekimu. For me, I'm learning in a birthday class. This is not a usual show. Eno mbadde njiga. Nange sigenda va wano nga ndi kyekimu. Simanyi abali ku kamera oba bayize oba nabo bunyumirwa but nandirowoozezza nti tukubire Mr. Bat mu ngalo. Bino ebintu si bya bulijjo. I'm happy to see a Ugandan. Bino otulabira abazungu bajja eno ne bagula ettaka ne bakola bino ebintu but omuntu omuddugavu owa wano omwana nakabala n'akola ebintu bino. It deserves a lot.
Bangamba nti abantu efaamu y'abazungu. It's not abazungu, it's me. Byonna ebintu biringa eby'abazungu. That's what they say.
Obutekkiriza mundooza kyekiretedde n'abantu bano abali mu byobulimi okukaaba. Buli mulimi gwe. That's why eno kyo bayita Happy Farmers. Saagala mulimi akaaba.
No, you shouldn't cry. Teri mulimu akaaba ate by'okuconfuse nga mbu ettaka lyo teririma kintu. Ettaka lyonna lirina okulima ekintu. Ligrowingamu ekintu. Teri ettaka ligaana. Goli managinga n'oli managing.
Government etufuddeeko.
Ebya government biveeko gavikola ebyo government bw'eriba erijjanga ekunoonye. nze one day bajja kujja wano bagamba omusajja otukwegalira nange nja kubajja mu sente naye sigenda kubanoonya kati sibanoonya
soko okuleta
nkole byange
enkuba etonya. Interesting.
Ebyokugamba nti you can nze omusajja naggaye nasanga omusajja nga akwata amazzi aganywa na exportinga gundi n'omusolo gwe gwafuka gutereka mu nyumba n'aguteekako naye ffe wano tulina enkuba omusana gwaka ettaka ddungi oyina how would you start telling me you can't farm ofairing otya kufaana
tutunda ttaka tuvuge
otunda ttaka n'ova wano n'ogamba nvuga boda naye kukuba the following day amagulu bagawanise ababbi ne bakuba akanyondo nosanga you know what interesting thing is that you have a land like this one and you say leka nditunda ngende Dubai, you become a slave in Dubai. And that's one thing that has failed to my like even if I said netaka sigenda kulitunda kansimba obumonde butwala how many months? Just 2 months okukola. Do you know how much a kamonde costs? You are not even going to suffer with the kamonde. Ojja kubukola obugole ne bukakambeere mu nyanya zange kuba ntunde nyanya obutungulu obwo. Do you know how much obutungulu costs? Those are things I'm telling you. Siga nti ogenda okozimba mwanya okole kinaye kola that thing obekyo obotandika nakyo.
Interesting. Happy farmers. Ensi y'ebyobulimi n'obulunzi tusinkane ku mulimi addako. Ciao.
Happy farmers, ensi y'obulimi n'obulunzi with Kimuli Kigozi.